you say, is there time to pivot and go get another quarterback? We know that this has been a hot issue here locally. Most of the media says absolutely not. This is not going to happen. But again, we see Mike Florio write on, I believe yesterday, that if the bridge between Baker Mayfield and the Browns hadn't been completely torched, there could have been a scenario where they brought Baker back, even gave him more money, signed him to just rip up the last year of his contract, give him more money, promise that you're not going to pick up the franchise tag, so he knows it's a one-and-done situation. He thought that could have happened and really doesn't even completely dismiss the chance that is possible. What do we make on that report? Because
I make the Florio, as usual, is wrong.
We buried that a while ago, I thought.
Yeah, I mean,
I didn't bury it.
No, I didn't either. But most everybody in the media has completely trounced that idea. But to your point, Jay, if you're saying, should they go out and get another guy? So if you were to make a list, and you're the Browns, of all of the potential quarterbacks that you could get, and you put them down on a piece of paper, and throw all of them in there, including Baker Mayfield, might Baker Mayfield be the best option? I mean, who's better than
Garoppolo would be the best option.
at that price tag?
I'll take
at
Garoppolo.
$25 million.
I think he would.
The Browns.
You've been saying Baker was better.
I think Baker is a little more talented than Jimmy Garoppolo.
But you're going to pay.
I'd rather have in this situation. I would much rather have Jimmy Garoppolo because he's already shown that he could take a talented roster and get them far in the playoffs. Baker hasn't shown that. Jimmy Garoppolo's shown that and done it twice.
I know. It's just odd to me that you insist that Baker is the better quarterback.
He is,
but you
but
would
not
take
for this
Garoppolo at $7 million more.
Yeah, the money's irrelevant. It's 1 year.
You'd pay $7 million more to a guy that you don't think is as good as this.
Well, I wouldn't trade for Garoppolo. I probably wouldn't trade for I would just go with Jacoby Brissett. If Watson's out for the whole year, the Browns are probably not going to the playoffs anyway, even with Jimmy Garoppolo or Baker or any of them, in my opinion, because the AFC is so loaded. But
I don't think you can throw your hands up and say, "Well, sorry guys, we tried."
Fine.
It's a bad look to the fans.
So
it's a bad
since you can't do that,
you aren't kidding.
I think Garoppolo is the best fit for this team.
I think what Bull's saying, Baker Mayfield, as far as arm strength, arm talent, he can make some nice throws. When he's on, he's on. You can't take that away from him. The problem with Baker is when he's off, you almost have no chance to win. I look at 2 or 3 games. The New England Patriots game, he threw for 71 yards. He threw 4 picks against the Green Bay Packers. The defense against the Baltimore Ravens had 5 turnovers, and you couldn't get on the board. And those games, Baker, when he's on, he's
his best is better than Garoppolo's best.
10,
yes. But Garoppolo's not going to screw it up.
He's not going to throw 4 or 5 picks.
He's done that. Jimmy's screwed up games before.
Not 5 picks, not 4 picks.
No, maybe not 5 picks, but he's thrown some critical interceptions late in games.
Sure, and so is
Am I
Baker.
imagining
Yeah, and so is Baker.
No, but you're saying Jimmy's not going to screw it up.
Not
There's
as
a body of
consistently
evidence
as
that
Baker.
shows he has screwed it up.
But this is why this is so complicated, because I've had multiple conversations with people in the Browns, and if it wasn't Deshaun, it was going to be Baker. They were not interested in Jimmy. Like, Jimmy's been out there, and it was made very clear to me they like Baker better. In a vacuum.
Right, exactly.
All of this.
Yes, of course.
I don't see any way to mend this at this point with Baker. So you may be forced to go. As an organization, you may like Jimmy less than Baker, but I don't personally, I don't think you can go into a season thinking Jacoby Brissett is going to take every snap all year long and you're a player.
That to me is a white flag. If Jacoby's the week 1 starter and he's going to be the guy for the year, they're waving the white flag.
I have a guy under contract, and you must excuse me because I must be the only old school guy here because the owners I know really wouldn't care, right?
Feelings be damned.
I've got
You're
Mayfield,
under contract.
I got Mayfield under contract, right? And I'm in need, right? And if they hammer me tomorrow, I'm not gonna send up smoke signals, right? I got somebody in the hole here, right? And he got to come here when I say come or sit home and get no money, right? And if you do that, you screw yourself going forward for next year.
To your point, Baker requested a trade and they denied it.
How many people in any sport ever requested a trade? I want out of here.
No, it happens.
And what they say, Jason?
But I think
you're going nowhere, son. Sit right here.
I think your point's a very good one. In the old school, you had a contract. You were going to honor that contract. The Browns are in need. more so than when they traded for Deshaun Watson because they didn't think that this was going to turn into a
I think Garoppolo gives this team a better chance to win than Baker. This team.
But Garoppolo's not under contract.
Jay, it's not even that you're going to honor a contract.
Let's bring Tim
They
Kelly.
have you over the head with that, right? And they said,
Right.
no, you're coming.
Yeah, in the old days, that's how it worked. Tim, what do you think about all of this?
I think that I don't see any way possible that Baker's going to come back and play. You know, we all know Baker Mayfield, and he can hold a grudge, you know, pretty well. So, you know, we've seen him hold grudges going all the way back to college from media members that have said this about him or that about him, and he'll go back and forth, man. And he's an emotional guy. So, you know, I think that the bridge has already been burned between him and the Browns. Baker said what he had to say about the Browns. He feels mistreated. The Browns have said some things about Baker as well. So I don't think there's any way he ever suits up for the Browns again. I think he's willing to set out the season no matter what. You know, unfortunately, I would love to see him come back and play if Deshaun is suspended for the year and just say, you know what, I'm going to be the bigger person here. I'm going to be a professional. I'm going to come out and I'm going to show that I'm healthy. I'm going to prove to another team that I'm capable of being a franchise quarterback. And I'd go out and play, you know, try to play, show that I can play at a very high level. But I just don't see Baker making that decision and being willing to play for the Browns.
The Browns have to agree to that
Tim,
for that to happen.
Tim, this is here. You know this well, Tim. They have said that before in this town. I watched LeBron James walk out of here, and he was never coming back here, right?
Yeah.
And at the end, when it all came to
back.
the cut, we all walked. He walked back through this door.
That was after 4 years,
Yeah,
not 4 months.
And Baker and LeBron.
Now, Tim, I got a hypothetical here because I want to get into the inside of a quarterback, right? Because you can say you're going to trade an offensive lineman and he ain't got no recourse. It's different. You guys are the ones throwing the ball. You're the face of the team. You go back to the Kelly Holcomb situation. He comes in, he plays in that Pittsburgh game. They lose you guys lose a heartbreaker in the Pittsburgh game, right? In the offseason, hypothetically, they come to you and say, Tim, we're going to ride with Kelly Holcomb. We're going to trade you. We're going to try to get you out of here and get you to another place. They say it, and then they go about making him the number one guy. Something happens. All of a sudden, they can't use Kelly anymore. Would you then come back, or would you say, nah, man, you had already traded me. I thought you went in a different direction. I'm ready for a new start. How would you handle that? Because I want to know the psyche of a quarterback and how that affects you when they say you're no longer good enough for us.
Right. Well, that's pretty much what happened to me, honestly. You know, the year we went to the playoffs, you know, I started all the game, most of the games. I missed a couple, you know, with injury or whatever. But, you know, I broke my leg in the last game of the year that we had to win against the Falcons to get into the playoffs in like the second or third quarter of that game. So, and then, you know, Kelly plays a great game against Pittsburgh in the playoffs, and we come in the next year. And obviously, you know, I think I'm going to be the starting quarterback. I finally just, you know, got this franchise to the playoffs, and I think we're heading in the right direction. And Butch Davis tells me, we're going to go in a different direction. I've got a gut feeling that Kelly's the guy. He's going to be this and that. So, you know, for me, that was a punch in the gut. You know, I just felt like betrayed by the organization that I'd been with from day one since 1999 when they came back as an expansion team. And now I finally got us to where we wanted to go. And an injury set me back, but I'm ready to go. I'm healthy. And he's telling me I'm not going to be the starter. So it was very, very tough for me to sit in those quarterback meeting rooms and say I'm going to prepare like I could be in the game at any point. If Kelly goes down or if they make a decision to go in another direction, it is a very, very awkward situation to be in that room. And Kelly and I are good friends. We're still good friends this day. But, you know, when you're competing with someone for the same job and a coach is, you know, going back and forth week in and week out about you're the guy this week, you're the guy this week, and even sometimes within the same game, rotating quarterbacks in and out, it gets very, very frustrating. And, you know, it definitely takes a toll on you mentally. And, you know, but for me, I would be willing to go out and play. You know, that's what I did that season. When my number was called, I went out and played. I played started a Sunday night game against the Steelers. If you remember, we beat the Steelers 33-13 or whatever it was on a Sunday night game. You know, and I went out and played well in that game. So I had to prepare myself like I was going to be the starter, even though emotionally I was pretty frustrated with the organization.
But Tim's an adult.
That's the difference between Tim Couch and Baker Mayfield.
And Baker is not.
And Tim's not saying this. I'm saying this. Tim got screwed by the organization.
Yeah, there's
Baker
no question
did not get screwed by they put nothing around him. They had no protection for him. That was one of, if not the worst offensive line we've ever seen. That's not the case with Baker. None of those things are true with Baker.
No, but he still feels like he was disrespected.
Yeah. Right.
Because like Tim, he got the franchise to the playoffs
yes.
after a long drought. And so Tim is the perfect guy to answer this. But you've made this point very clearly. Tim is an adult.
Yes.
Baker holds grudges.
Yes.
We know, that was Tim's first point. He remembers the names of media guys in Oklahoma that asked him questions he doesn't like.
Tim still, look, he's doing this show. He shows up in Cleveland. He would have every reason. We would all understand if Tim felt bitter about the Browns, hated Cleveland, all these things. Instead, it's the opposite.
Yeah, because he's an adult. And let me ask you specifically about Brad's point that, look, there's a contract here. And really, the Browns hold Baker's future in their hands.
Right.
And so Baker may think he has the power, but at the end of the day, he's under contract to play for the Browns. And if the Browns said to him, we're going to pay you what we owe you and we expect you to be here for training camp because now we do have a need and you're under contract, we'll see you in July. What then?
It's going to get real interesting, man. I tell you, it's going to be that would definitely build some drama. I think, I think for Baker,
hard knocks.
Yeah, exactly. Hard knocks would be perfect for this. But I think as far as the team goes, I just look at it from a standpoint of his teammates. I think the guys on the team still respect Baker. Guys like Nick Chubb has said things about how he respects Baker as a teammate. I think all the guys appreciate Baker and will welcome him back. It just comes down to can Baker do it? Can he mentally get himself to the point where he says, you know what, I'm going to let last year be last year. We're going to move on. I got 1 year here. I understand that. I'm going to go out and play the best football I can for this team, and I'm going to try and get us to the playoffs and show everybody that I'm a franchise quarterback again. And that way, when this year is over, I can go wherever I want. There'll be teams knocking down the door to sign me.
That's the way you should look at it.
Well, here,
if I'm Baker Mayfield, that's my mindset. If they call me to come back, I'm coming back, and I'm coming back with a mission to be the best quarterback I can be.
And there's 18 million reasons.
Let me
back.
tell you something.
Absolutely,
Is this business as a player in any professional sports? There's going to be a day where they come and knock on your door and tell you you're not the guy anymore. For me, it was when they knocked on the door and said, Scotty, it's the guy, you out. What do you mean I'm out? We just went to the playoffs. No, you're out. What do you mean I'm out? So, Tim, I understand exactly how you feel, right? Like, what do you mean? I started most of the games of the season. They're like, you're not starting these playoffs. Well, you come off the bench in these playoffs, even if you get in.
Wouldn't that be the ultimate walk-off home run for Baker Mayfield, though, if he came back, got his $18 million, used the year as a chance to show the other 31 teams that he can do this, and take this team deep into the playoffs then say, my guys, I'm out.
You have to be a professional here, right? This is not the little league.
We just talked about not punting the season. You've got to get the quarterback that's best for them to win. It's not him.
If he does that, we missing it here. If they bring him back and he takes this team anywhere near past the divisional round, right? Say you get to the AFC Championship game. Deshaun Watson is on an indefinite suspension. Do you believe people in this town would let Baker Mayfield get on a horse and get up out of here when they got a quarterback who ain't got no equity?
Then he has the power.
Then
you do whatever he wants.
Then they would have to go back and offer Baker more money, and it would be the biggest thing.
Listen to what we're saying here. We've gone way off the hypothetical bridge.
But you know what this becomes? My friend knows this.
Still a chance.
Let me tell you what this becomes. The Bronx Zoo. The Yankees are.
Yeah.
This is what this becomes.
All that's missing is George Steinbrenner.
Yeah.
Tell him, ask Tim. If you ask that question, Tim, if Baker comes back, he gets him to the AFC Championship game. It's a couple plays away, but he plays his tail off, right? He has no more contract.
Screw it. They go to the Super Bowl.
All right,
let's just go all in on this hypothetical fun
right? Do the Cleveland Browns move on from Baker Mayfield if he does that in the scenario you say he come back?
Well, I think no matter how well Baker plays, they're too financially committed to Deshaun Watson to even consider Baker Mayfield. $230 million guaranteed. They're going to put Deshaun Watson on the field at some point whenever he's allowed to be out there. So I think for Baker, it's just, he has to look at this as, he's doing it for himself. Obviously he's going out to play for the team, but he's setting himself up for the future and trying to get on another team because this is Deshaun Watson's football team whenever he's off the suspension.
Tim, the Browns are throwing Baker Mayfield a bone. You don't always get a bone here.
They're not, though. They don't want to throw him a bone, and he doesn't want the bone.
Baker is never taking another snap for the Browns.
That's it.
It's not happening. Oh, my God in heaven. What are we
I've been trying to say that for 2 months.
That'll be clipped. Don't worry. That'll be
because with the Browns, the one thing I learned a long time ago.
You're going to take me to steak
Eddie's
dinner.
positive.
The more
If
obvious
this change, you're going to take me out for steak dinner.
That's a deal.
You're going to take me out for steak
Jason,
dinner.
lifelong fan, seen it all. The one thing I've learned with this franchise
Never
is
say never.
the more obvious something appears, the more likely it is to not go that way.
I think Colin Kaepernick should be their starting quarterback. Let's go down that road.
No, I'm straight.
You don't want Colin?
No,
why not?
No, he ain't played in 10 years. That's the worst thing to happen. No.
Boom!
I will say though, that would be. I mean, talk about the ratings. I mean, that makes my life easier. You let Baker Mayfield come in here and start winning some games while Deshaun Watson is suspended, bro. Renew the contract now. Cleveland Sports, go ahead and do it.
Yeah,
If you imagine a quarterback room with Baker Mayfield, Deshaun Watson, Colin Kaepernick, and whoever else.
Tim Tebow.
Tebow, Baker, Kaepernick, Watson. Yeah.
See,
The ratings out the
Can we get
window. Sign us to a lifetime
Excedrin
contract
for Jason?
right now.
And Ryan Leaf, get him in there, too.
Get the close tequila back here, or bourbon, or whatever it was.
I look at
need a
Jason,
drink.
right? And I guess I'm tainted, right? I was on the bad boy Pistons, right?
Yeah.
That locker room was a mess, right? A mess. But when they hit the floor,
They won.
They won.
it was different.
Yep.
But afterwards,
Well, you talk about the Bronx too. There were Yankees
it's a
teams.
mess.
The manager was fighting the star.
Yeah.
Reggie and Billy were
Martin,
throwing hands in the dugout, but they won. They won.
Man, it's rough.
Tim, who do you? I still believe that if you did trade, I think Jimmy Garoppolo, of all the available options, if Deshaun was suspended for a year, actually gives them the best chance to have success because listen, I don't know that he's the most talented quarterback on the face of the earth, but he has shown you with San Francisco that if you put talent around him, he can find a way to win games. He's done it. You look at the Niners since he's been there. When he plays, they win. When he doesn't, they lose.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think he's probably the best available if you're going to go that route of bringing in a guy. I think he's proven he can win football games, as you said. He's a very good player in my opinion. I think he's probably not as good as Baker. I agree with you. On the high end when Baker's playing at his best, I think Baker's probably a better quarterback. But I think Jimmy would be, if you brought him into this situation with the type of running game the Browns have, that offensive line, Jimmy Garoppolo can win football games without question in Cleveland if you want to go down that road.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens, but he would be a great option if they wanted to go that road.
Jay, correct me if I'm wrong. He's owed 25. His cap hit, I think, would be 26. The Browns could renegotiate his deal, couldn't
It's not all guaranteed, I don't think.
No, I don't think it is either.
Yeah.
But I think his cap hit is 25.
I don't see what's the benefit to him to renegotiate.
Well-
Because he knows it's a 1-year stopgap for him in that scenario.
Sure.
So I don't know.
Just like Baker, though, he'd have a great supporting cast
Yeah.
to go prove to another team that he's
If he
a
got to
viable
start
option
for the
as a
Browns the
quarterback.
whole year, he's not going to get a better option than that, Garoppolo.
I agree, but I don't know what his incentive would be to give money back. Because he doesn't know when he's sort of like Baker. He doesn't know when his next big payday's coming.
No, but it'd be a long-term play, and it would be like betting on yourself,
You bet
like
on-
Joe
you-
Flacco
you
did
bet
with the
on- you
Ravens.
bet on
when
yourself.
He rolled the dice and won a Super Bowl.
McNuggets,
like
you got
clowning.
something?
Yeah, I do. We're going to do a little change of pace real quick.
Okay.
But staying on topic, but I just want to change what Airfoils is sponsoring today. They're still going to sponsor what the internet is saying. And as always, if you're looking for a job with career advancement and great benefits, PCC Airfoils is a leading manufacturer in Northeast Ohio. All locations of PCC Airfoils at Eastlake, Mentor, Wickliffe, and Minerva are hiring for all positions starting at $18 and up. Plus, get a full paid benefit package, paid time off, and a signing bonus. Apply online at precast.com/careers to learn more. And my question today.
PCC.
My question today is what Florio actually presented in that article. We didn't touch on this yet, and I'm curious what you guys' take and Tim's take is. He said if Baker was to come back, they would guarantee him a little more money this year and then promise not to tag him next year, so it's a clean break.
Right.
Is that – I know Jason just screamed into the microphone, broke his second mic in 3 weeks on the set, but
Sorry,
it's the
guys.
second time he's done that. But
Add it to
is
my
that
tab.
even remotely a possibility? And that's kind of what the
I'm
whole
refusing
Florio
to answer
article
that
was
question.
premised and based on.
You've answered it. Hell no.
I'm refusing
What is
to
the
answer.
internet saying?
The internet says, why is the national media continuing to push this storyline down our throats?
See, we talked about that in our chain. Jason, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think the national media pushes a narrative. I think they're writing about things they're hearing.
Well, I'm talking to some same people, and I'm not getting the impression Baker's ever walking back in that building.
It's crazy. See, this is the thing. It's even nuts. If you just said he was coming back, that's demonstrably false. But he's saying, offer him a little bit more money.
It's ridiculous.
I said, why would you? We can't get. They don't think he's worth $10 million, let alone $20 million. Yeah, give him a little more. Florio
Well,
said.
that's pretty much blood money.
I wouldn't offer him nothing.
We know you're mad at us.
Crazy.
We know you're mad at us. We'll give you the promise that we're not going to franchise you, and we'll throw more money at you. If they throw $3 more million,
Why would they have to make that promise?
don't
There'd
have
be
to
no
give
chance
him-
they'd franchise him anyway.
They don't have to give him $1 more.
If they,
$1
you know why
more.
they'd have to? Because if he
Yeah.
did come back and play, and he did take them deep in the playoffs, the Browns then could look at trying to void Watson's contract and then franchising Baker.
Yeah.
If you tell him you're not going to franchise him and you assure him of that, Baker knows it's a one-and-done situation. I get a chance with a really good supporting cast to show that I can do this in the NFL and perhaps get that long-term deal. Or you can go to Carolina, win 4 games, and then be relegated as captain clipboard.
I don't know. I think we beat this to death, and there's nothing there.
So
Have we, McNuggets, how are we doing? Have we beat it to death and there's nothing there, or are people watching
well, I
us?
think with the Baker stuff, we have some trade proposals we were going to save for later.
yeah.
Do you just want to do those now? And
Sure.
regardless
And maybe
of this?
Tim
All
can give the opinion on who's got the best trade proposal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Tim,
Tim,
you're
do you
the
mind
general
sticking around
manager.
for 2-3 extra minutes?
You're the GM of the
Yeah,
Browns.
sure. Be glad to.
Judge Tim.
We're all going to give trade proposals, and we're going to let you, as the GM, pick which one you want. Sound good?
Okay. All right.
And let me
sounds good.
preface
Let's do it.
this real quick. Some of these, very serious.
Yeah.
Some of these, very not serious.
Well,
so,
Tim
put
can-
on your creative hat.
Already
and I
None
want you
more
to
serious.
give
I
us
am
the
100%
best one.
serious with mine, by the way.
Yes.
100%.
But we'll start with
Go ahead.
Jay and Jason because
Jason, I'll let you pitch it. We have the same trade proposal.
Well, we've been talking about it all morning. Straight
Yeah.
up, Jimmy Garoppolo for Baker Mayfield. I just think this makes a lot of sense both ways. Jimmy G, it's a 1-year deal, comes in. And my thought behind this is if it's a year suspension for
Right.
Deshaun. Now you've got a guy in Jimmy G who can get you to the playoffs. You're still a contender in the AFC. Baker gets a fresh start in San Francisco. Maybe he wins a starting job there. It doesn't sound like Trey Lance is ready. He may have a very long and productive career. I think this makes a lot of sense for both sides. And it sort of absolves each other of their headache that they have.
Yeah, and I co-sign all of that. We did not talk about this. That was the exact trade that I had put together, too. So, Tim, sit on that while G. Bush pitches his.
I like that. I would do that deal, though.
Oh, even over yours?
No, mine's is much better, but.
Oh, look at that. Very in-depth here.
Oh,
So-
look at G. Bush.
So here's what we're gonna do, man. I like the fact that Teddy Bridgewater to me is a little more reputable than Jacoby Brissett. I like him a little more, and there's questions with the tackle. So Conklin's hurt. Wills he was hurt last year, but he got to step it up. So give me Greg Little, can play right side or left side, and be a swing tackle. You also get Teddy Bridgewater. Dolphins would then get Baker Mayfield, and I'll give them the 5th-round pick that we got from the Rams from the Troy Hill deal. That'll sweeten it, but they got to take all
That
18
seems like a
million.
fleecing. Why would Miami do that?
Yeah, I don't know that Miami would do that. I think that
Well, here the reason
They're
why-
all in on Tua still.
now.
So they don't want Baker.
I don't think
that's today.
Yeah.
You got Tyreek Hill. You got Jalen Waddle. If they come out here in the Dolphins and you can't hit Tyreek Hill or Jalen Waddle,
Well, Teddy Bridgewater.
I don't think Teddy Bridgewater's any better than Brissett, personally.
But I believe that Baker Mayfield is better than Teddy Bridgewater.
Yeah,
I agree.
I just think the
take
Dolphins
Baker.
would hang up the phone halfway through that.
Well, hey man, it all depends on how I feel about Tua.
There you go.
Well, mine is a little tongue-in-cheek. I think the scenario is what I told you it is. I said this was Jerry Reinsdorf for the Bulls, Baker Mayfield would be under center. There would be no question he'd be under center. Right? No question at all. He'd be under center. So let's get
knockoff Louis Vuitton, not even the real thing.
let's get to
Louis Vuitton. He wants the knockoff
Let's
stuff.
get to the game here, right? Baker Mayfield has been so devalued. You'll be lucky to get 2 4th-round picks from him. So
You would-
devalued.
there's no chance to get that.
And so I say trade him to Seattle, and then we can go down to the Pike Street Market and throw us a couple fish. Okay,
Yeah, all right.
Sure.
Get a couple fish, and then luckily we go uptown. There goes some knockoff Louis Vuitton luggage. That's what the trade is for
Louis
Baker
Vuitton.
Mayfield.
All right.
Now,
That
listen,
one was not serious, right, McNuggets?
Tim-
You said one of them wasn't serious.
Yeah.
That was it.
Well, wait till you
Tim,
see the next one.
Tell me you gotta like that, baby.
Listen, Tim.
I like it.
I got you taken care of here. These guys have all embarrassed themselves with these trade offers. Let's get to the only trade offer, the only team that wants Baker. The Ottawa Roughriders.
That's serious.
Excuse me, the Saskatchewan Roughriders.
There are
The
2
Canadian
Roughriders.
Football League.
There are 2 Rough Riders.
Here's what we're getting in return. Unlimited Labatt Blue. Okay? Labatt Blue is just a good version of all the American beers like Bud Light and Coors. Labatt Blue, much better. A 5-year supply of poutine and all the contestants. I had poutine for the first time ever Friday night celebrating my first day anniversary with my wife. It was amazing. It blew me away. We need to improve security at Browns games. So we need 3 Canadian Mounties.
With the horses.
And 1 moose. The Browns are short at defensive tackle. Now, there's no more good players left out there at defensive tackle. So let's just get a moose.
My man is the winner.
Let's go. Throw him in there.
He's the winner.
Tim, who wins? Which trade you taking?
Some interesting offers there, but I'm going to have to go with Garoppolo trade up for
Of
Baker.
course. Absolutely he is.
Although the Mounties and a moose would be nice to have. So,
Tim, you ain't want the Louis? Come on,
No.
man. You ain't want the knockoff?
that Louis Vuitton got a size 16 font. That LV is big as hell. Ain't no,
Can we do a 3-way deal to get the fish and the moose?
Yeah, I know. That would be nice. I think that's what we all propose. Does anybody want to throw out there what they think will happen? Because I think he's going to Carolina.
I think he's going to get traded to Seattle for a 6th or 7th round pick. That's what I think is going to happen.
I think it's Seattle too. I think Pete Carroll's looking at that and saying,
I'm a Seattle guy. And if I'm moving him out my way so I don't have to see him in the line of sight anymore.
Yeah,
right?
you don't want to see him in week 1.
Right.
Seattle has the worst quarterback situation in the NFL.
Yeah,
the worst.
Bleak. It's pretty bleak.
I don't really understand why they like. For me, if I'm a Seattle Seahawks fan, I don't understand why they wouldn't be on them to say, "Hey, just
it's a free look. It's a 1-year look. See what you can
It
get.
costs you
Absolutely.
nothing."
All right, Tim, listen, thanks for putting up with our shenanigans. I'm sorry you had to hear Bull's trade proposal. That's embarrassing. But he owns it. He owns it. He owns it for sure. Tim, have a great week. We'll see you next Monday, my man.
All right, man.
See you, Tim.
thanks, guys. Sounds good.
Yeah, he literally, it's a different, subplot, but
Yeah.
the main storyline of Tim is very similar to Baker's, in that Baker is looking at this saying, how can you guys do me this way?
Right.
And Tim asked the same question, and I think both
Yeah,
just
but
ask that question.
Baker was given great talent around him and rode that talent. Whereas Tim Couch had to overcome
Tim played with one
talent
Pro Bowl his
deficiencies.
entire career.
You got
Talent
something in your
deficiency.
soul.
I
It's in your soul.
I am so tired of hearing about the playoff win. I'm so tired.
God, I can't agree with you more.
Jared Goff took the Rams to the Super Bowl, and they said, "You're not good enough. We can do better.
Carson
we need
Wentz.
to upgrade the position."
Carson
And they
Wentz.
went and look, and then the Rams went and won the Super Bowl.
Jimmy Garoppolo
So
took teams
I'm
to the Super
so
Bowl.
tired of hearing
All those teams had been to the playoffs so many times.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it does.
No,
It
it
does. To the
doesn't.
fan base, it does.
One playoff win does not. I mean, yeah, you know what? The Browns have had crap at the quarterback position for 20 years. They have. That doesn't mean Baker Mayfield is the answer. I'm so tired of hearing about.
I got to say, I hope, I really do. I know you actually said you're rooting against him.
Yes, I
hope
admit it.
Baker goes to Miami or Carolina or Seattle and plays his ass off.
I have no.
I really do.
I'm fine with that. I'm not rooting against him anyway. I wish him well.
G's rooting
He has
against
a
him
great
too.
career.
Admit you're rooting against him.
I don't think G is.
For me,
You're not as much a hater as me.
I mean, he.
But don't you want to be right? Right? We want to be
Who
right.
cares? Who cares?
I want to be right.
If you look at it, the thing that
Oh,
always
if you're wrong on this one,
the thing
Bull,
that always
it's going
got
on
me,
your headstone.
They always.
Oh yeah, I'll put it on my
always
own
irked me
headstone.
about this. It was like when I looked at LeBron, right?
Yeah.
LeBron is the second greatest player, and most people
Behind Giannis?
to put shoes. Yeah, well, Lord, don't start me. To put
Time
shoes
is
on.
foul.
To put shoes on. LeBron is squeaky clean. It's a point where there's some people that value Baker Mayfield more than they value LeBron James. And
well, that's ludicrous.
No. LeBron, the vitriol for LeBron. People talk about this all the time. Like when he left the first time, you got to go back and jump into that circumstance when he left the first time and remember the climate.
Right.
People talk. LeBron has brought the organization to the highest heights, but people value a divisional game against the Pittsburgh Steelers. To me, it's not even
more,
close.
though. Who values what Baker's done for this city over what LeBron has?
Baker. I'm telling you, Baker has a cult following in this city.
There's a lot of vitriol against LeBron, and I just don't understand it.
It was
For what he's
even
done in
now.
the
Yeah,
community.
I don't either,
And for-
personally, but people that say he's left us twice,
The thing LeBron has done post his return here has been phenomenal, right? The vitriol comes from the
He left us again.
Walking people out to watch that TV program. That's where it comes from. That's where it came from.
And if he had to do it again, he would do it again.
But
Badly
there's a residual for that, right?
Yeah.
And this town never forgets a thing, right? There's some people in this town will never forget.
Well, guess what?
Forget. But let me say this. And
We
this
got a
why-
banner out
here,
of it.
I'm not here. I'm pulling for Baker Mayfield, right? Because what I'm pulling for is this. There's a chance at redemption here. He doesn't see it, right? He can walk in here, do his thing, walk out the door to a ton of money if he does his thing, right? And all it requires you to be just an adult to understand what's on the table. It don't require anything more.
Yeah,
I ain't gotta
God
be
bless him. Go get
I ain't
what
gotta be
he
your
can.
buddy. I ain't gotta be your grandson, your godchild. Let me come in here from 9 to 5 and do my job and do it at a high level. And then guess what? I'm out of here.
America is about second chances, right? I ain't the person I am today than I was 20 years ago. I used to stand on tables. I was obnoxious. I'm running around doing all kind of different stuff. You grow up at some point, but I've had a lot of injuries, right? Those injuries told me something like, the health stuff is fleeting. You can get away with certain stuff when you're younger. Hopefully he gets to a point where he understands that he's still got a lot of his career left and kind of switches the mindset, because he's not garbage. It's just that he has to figure it out in terms of, hey, this is the way I need to
do you really care
myself.
when he leaves, like what happens to him?
Well, I don't wish no bad on no man.
I'm not wishing him to get hurt or die or anything. I'm just.
That's the great.
I don't
Well,
care.
that's good.
No.
But why do I have to root for him to do well?
No, you don't.
Why?
You don't have to root for him.
Yeah.
But the thing about
Why do you have to root for him to do poorly?
Because he's obnoxious.
But that's hate. Like,
So
why
what?
you got to spew hate?
I look at it like this.
Because that's how I feel,
Because
honestly.
you're being Petty LeBeau.
Fine.
Sports
That's
is
fine.
Sports is the greatest thing about it is.
Yeah.
In sports, it don't matter what religion you is. It don't matter what faith you are. It don't matter how much money you got, and it don't matter how many people like you. It's about what you do between the lines, and that's the greatest equalizer. Yeah. So every single person that plays has an opportunity to either prove you right or prove you wrong.
I mean, Anthony Rizzo was my favorite baseball player when he was on the Cubs. I don't want him to win with the Yankees. I want him to lose. Now, part of that's because he's on the Yankees. If he run another team, that's a big part of it.
I can root against somebody that's on the Yankees.
All right, what about if Baker goes to the Steelers? You'll be rooting for him to lose?
No, I won't be rooting for him to lose. Obviously, I'll be rooting for the Browns to kick their teeth in every time they play.
Yes.
But if he goes 14-2 every year, and we beat them twice a year, that's what I care about. I care what the Browns do against the Steelers.
So you don't root for any players to have lack of success?
I never root against anybody, Bull.
All right, fair enough.
I just don't, but I'm a different. I look at things differently. Some people do. Some people get great. Some people watch sports so they can root against people.
And
I would never be that guy.
And I look at it like this. Here's a young athlete in a window of opportunity. The window of opportunity closes as soon as you get there, right? It's starting to close, right? And he's not going to have a lot of opportunity. He has a chance, right?
He has a chance.
And I know how hard it is to get to that level, right? And I don't want to see him blow it, right? He has a chance, right? And the problem with Baker Mayfield is I don't think he understands time and attention, right? Because if he was on time and attention, he would be cognizant of exactly what moment in time he has right now. Because if he took a hard position here and said, the Browns said, you come back and you're going to play. And he says, I'm not going to play. Well, the Browns are going to sit him in the corner, right? Then next year, who's going to be willing to pay him any money? Nobody.
Let me
Nobody.
ask you, Jason, if he doesn't play next year, do the Browns still have him for a year?
No.
What happens if he just decides, I'm not going to play?
I mean, if they want him to come back and he says no.
I'm just asking if he doesn't play, he doesn't get paid.
Right.
Does that year?
No, because in Deshaun, if he's suspended, everything is frozen, but he's not suspended.
No.
So the contract
he just wouldn't get paid.
Right. So if Baker decides to be the petulant child then
he just won't get paid and he'll still be a free agent.
He will be a free agent after next year?
I believe so.
Yeah.
I thought the contract freezes.
Wasn't
if it's the
Le'Veon
players.
Bell a free agent when he held out that year?
Yeah.
And then he became a free agent, right?
I don't remember how that played out. I honestly don't.
I know he signed with the Jets.
Because they hold the salary back, so it's like the contract is moving forward. Right?
Yeah.
So
They're being
not
fined
paying.
every week.
They're
The
not paying.
contract's still
Right,
ticking.
they're not paying, right? So at the end of that, it's a done deal.
If Baker decides to go that route, he's got to have someone
It's
smart
not gonna
and
come to
grown
that
up
point.
in
You be
his
shooting
ear.
yourself. You be shooting yourself in
It's
your
not
own
coming
foot.
to that,
Listen,
guys.
it might be the end of his career.
Right?
Yeah, it's not
That's
gonna
what
come.
I'm screaming here.
He's going to get
It's not-
traded.
it's not
He's
coming
going to
to
get
that.
traded. It's not going to come to that. He's going to play. Maybe he'll play well. Who cares? I mean, once he's out of here,
Well,
I don't know.
You don't
Yeah,
want to-
see.
I don't know. I mean, he doesn't care if I'm successful in my career
Well,
or not.
I mean, he probably
you know.
doesn't even know any of us exist. So
Yo,
I'm sure
he
he's not
does.
getting
He knows.
any-
Oh, he does.
That's why he
Oh, he
blocked him.
does.
He know he not
Yeah,
playing.
he knows.
Oh, yeah, that's right. No,
Oh,
he's
he
dead to him. He's dead to him.
He does. Now listen, I don't go around rooting against every player.
No, I understand
you know,
that. I
whatever.
understand that.
But I'm not gonna I'm honest that I'm rooting against him. There's probably other people that will be too. They might not be honest about it. I'm gonna be. If that makes me a hater or a bad
so
guy,
how do
I can live
y'all-
with that.